how Jon Bernthal in 2019 film Ford v Ferrari changed my perception of the car industry. So it's a tad bit of time later. It's Sunday, 5 October 2025, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, talk through how my perception of the car industry changed in relation to my watching Jon Bernthal and the 2019 film Ford v Ferrari. So Jon Bernthal portrays a real person, like from real life, in the Ford company, who I shall not name, to emphasize how much the actor mattered in this particular movie in my perception of the car industry. And so he was on Team Ford, and my red is, well, for this movie I was Team Ferrari. And Team Ken Miles, Jon Bernthal did not portray Ken Miles. So I watched this movie and I was like, I'm Ken Miles in Ferrari. So I am Ken Miles in female form, you know, reincarnated, that kind of thing. And then on top of that, the uniform is red Ferrari. So there we go. But I was watching the movie, and I had some takeaways. And so one was Ken Miles is like a hero of mine. Okay. Another was Ferrari is a hero of mine, like the company, for craftsmanship. And then the third one was Jon Bernthal is one freaking really gorgeous man. And I think they made this movie just to highlight how good looking he is in this movie. And I was like, I think... I was watching it, and it was like, you know, they design these sexy cars. And I was like, but sometimes, like, men work on grooming themselves and taking care of themselves, and there's like, but there's a really sexy man in the movie. And I was like, watch them have chosen him and designed this whole movie around him, and like carrying on the legacy of the car industry in this particular race, that Le Mans race that featured both Ford and Ferrari, and it's because he's so good looking. So it changed my perception of the car industry a little bit, because I was like watching it and I was like, this guy's stuck in my brain, and not like just the guy and not the name, but like the look. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to get that out of my head, and I've got it out of my head since. And I was like, it's sometimes like a person just sticks. Like there's a particular look, and it's like, it's done. It's just in there. It's just lodged in my brain, like Milo Ventimiglia, like through my amnesia and everything. Nope, I remembered him from that music video of Fergie. Don't worry, where they didn't name him or anything like that. So there's just like some moments and some performances that are just so impactful instantaneously. They get seared into my tiny little brain, and I was like, you know, this tiny little brain of this Tanis goes, does that matter like as much or more than the person he's portraying? Does it matter as much or more than the name of these car companies, which were named after individual men, Henry Ford and Lorenzo or Enzo Ferrari? And so there's a little bit of, I was like, there's a careful balance there, because, you know, I was like, it wasn't long after I had published in high energy density physics first author, you know, and I'm like thinking about my own legacy, and I'm going, but see, that matters. That's why it's why Miley Cyrus shall portray me, a good human being, right? She's my pick. Right? I put a bunch of like thought into that kind of throughout my life, but also in response to this film of like, I was like, I really need to choose the right person, because this guy just stole the show, and like it really helps with the reputation of the car industry in terms of like how to say it. When a person does, Miley, are you listening? Okay, I got you, girl. Okay, if you're ever portraying me, this guy's a guy maybe to take notes on, in terms of my respect for the car industry grew because the man did his job so well. So Miley portraying me well, I would hope, has the same positive boost to the corresponding industry, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, science specifically, Or am I doing a PhD in physics? Or the course, but I have a geology and geophysics with a minor in mathematics. So we'll go science and mathematics. Right, so the corresponding industry that gets improved by Miley Cyrus doing a good portrayal of me would be science and mathematics, because she does her job so well at portraying a scientist / mathematician. All right, female. It was one where I was like very much like, it means a lot that the man put so much effort into doing authentic performance for this guy in the car industry. However, it also boosts his own industry, because I think of his performance as a high caliber performance. So it boosted, as this happened, not only my perception of the car industry, but also of the acting industry. So this is one of those really just like impactful on Tanis's tiny brain rules. How Jon Bernthal in 2019 film Ford v Ferrari changed my perception of the car industry. It boosted it. And to be fair, the acting industry as well. Got that, Miley? Same brain wavelength. If you're watching this, we got this.